Hello again. Yeah, on a roll. This tends to almost always happen when I take this drive to Toronto. Yeah, born and raised in Toronto, living just outside of Ottawa in the country, and love it. And, do not love cities. Actually, dislike them very much. Dislike being in the energy of them. Though happy because I'm going to also be seeing Dad today, which is nice. So what's the topic now? Okay, well, as I was also recognizing and honoring that I have my moon and understanding the strength and medicine of a woman and her moon time and what she has open to her and available to her, and how we've been so misled and I feel like that's it, so misled and lied to for centuries in regards to the empowerment of a woman that has her moon and the honor of that and the gift of it. And so as I was just sitting with this medicine and flowing through what was flowing within me and understanding, again, this idea of observation. If you saw the previous video on protecting the land, but it was all about, again, just understanding that our ancestors did just that, so it's just, I guess, part 2 of understanding that we're protectors of the land and understanding what that truly means in its essence, and understanding that that is what our ancestors from the four corners have done and are still doing, and how it's up to us to connect with that. And so that's where I'm going with what I'm sharing in this video, is that the word genocide has come around, and by no means will I dishonor that, as I do believe that was the intent, and I feel that it has not happened, yet it was the intent. And to feel into that is deep, because I feel that might go against the grain for a lot, though to believe that the ancestors have undergone genocide would me be believing that their essence isn't here with me, because the genocide would be that they're gone, that they've been eradicated, that, and that's not what's happened. And they flowed through a sacrifice as they understood the medicine of blood, and not just the blood from a woman during her moon time, but the medicine of blood. And that's why women were so honored, and that's why the matriarch in many tribes that it was all guided by matriarch. Many were guided by matriarch, not all, but many were, for the reason that that's one of the main reasons is the gift behind a person being able to have blood at their disposal without being a wound or cutting themselves or whatever the case may be, right? We know the sun dance, there's piercing, and there's obviously many other ceremonies that happen to release blood for all different reasons. And it's known within all the worlds, the medicine behind blood and the power of the blood. I mean, we understand Mother Earth's water is her blood and the strength of that. And we know that we cannot live without water, just as we cannot live without the blood within our veins. And so in understanding the importance of blood is not hard to connect with. And so to understand that our ancestors from the four corners that underwent the intent of genocide made choices to protect the land and stand tall for it, and therefore die upon it. And their blood is within her, is upon her. That is the protection. So to feel that they went through genocide, it's for me, it doesn't connect anymore, because their essence is completely here with us. The intent was there. But they made choices, and they understood the gift of what they could offer in the experiences they were about to undergo. And that's not to lighten or overshadow where we sit today with our Indigenous from the Four Corners and the healing that we are undergoing as a whole. It's worldwide, and it's everyone that is undergoing forms of healing through some form of trauma in their bloodlines. And again, there's the bloodlines again, that's carried through the bloodlines. And so the blood that's been shed upon the earth by those that chose to stand tall and protect it did not go without reason. That blood is the essence upon her that we can connect with if we choose to. That is the strength of it, that it's not gone, it's within her. And so in understanding the medicine of blueprints, in understanding the medicine of energy, that it cannot be destroyed, is that we can reconnect with that energy. We can listen to that energy. We can be guided, protected, and supported by that energy. And so it's moving forward, it's honoring that and moving in. And there are ceremonies in honoring this, in honoring just that. And when we allow ourselves to understand, and that is also the gift of not being buried in boxes, and not being necessarily burned. And again, this is said with no judgment. But a lot of the time, well, actually, I'm hearing very clearly that a lot of our ancestors would be left up and out to actually be nourishment for our other relatives, or buried within the ground so they can truly return to the earth in that way. So their blood was always shared with the earth. And that blood is nourishment. And that blood carries medicine and carries the messages and is the continuation and is the interconnectedness of all. And it's when we do these things to intervene with this process, we create blocks. We create blocks of that interconnectedness. The boxes within the ground, the burning of our bodies. At least with the burning of our bodies, we have the ability to still connect with the ashes that can be returned to the water and return to the land. Again, a different topic. Yet the medicine of our blood being drained out to return to the land and bring healing to the land and remain as an essence and communication is the physical aspect. So we understand from our teachings that our, for lack of better explanation or for words, our spiritual essence lives on forever, right? Our center is the center of all, is the essence of all, right? It's where we all connect. It is the one, right? So in our teachings, that belief is that returns to be. It remains, I should have said, not returns to be, it remains to be. And our blood that leaves our physical body is intended to be returned to the earth, so it can also be where it's intended to be, its essence. It's returning to that where it came from, essentially. You know, our physical bodies coming from Mother Earth, and our spiritual bodies from Father Sky. The alchemy of it all is Grandmother Moon and Grandfather Sun. And so I wanted to share this because this is an opportunity for you to take a moment and sit with this if you choose, and feel into your ancestors. Start with just your ancestors, that their blood was shed upon the earth, and connect with that, because you have the ability to call that in. I mean, we're all interconnected and connected, though it is the easiest to first connect with your quote unquote direct bloodlines, for lack of better explanation. So sit with that and connect and see what comes in your space when you sit in your stillness and you honor those that bled upon the earth to protect it. and their essence returning to the earth so that it can continue to nourish and return to the circle of life. What does that mean? How do you connect? How do you receive and listen with that? What do you learn from that? Because there's so many lessons in reconnecting and honoring that sacrifice, that moment for the ancestors that chose to stand tall and bleed upon the earth. And to also recognize that all blood is a gift. All blood. And in honoring what we can receive when we acknowledge that, and how that has been tampered with and interfered with, and how that can also be a big part of Mother Earth's dis-ease, along with the many other reasons that she is dis-eased right now. And so how can we support her? How can we protect her in listening to the traditional ways, and listening to those ancestors that are whispering to us through the essence within her of their remains that are still here upon Mother Earth, and allowing their blood and their spirit to reconnect in the space of nothingness, so that we can hear more clearly and be guided, protected, and supported to walk as intended, so that we can ensure that there is a place for our children and their children and so on, the next 7 generations. Again, interested to hear your comments and insights and perceptions, and even after, if you choose to sit in this stillness and connect with this medicine that is available to you, what comes to you. So thanks. Have a good one.